Hi everyone, welcome back to my podcast that I try to do every Sunday, but sometimes don't hit that mark, but I try to do it every Sunday. Um, Today I'm going to be talking about 12 things that I wish, 12 red flags, if you will. 12 red flags that I wish I did not ignore or dismiss when I was in a toxic relationship. These are things that should send a girl running, and they are not okay, and I hate that I dismissed them and made excuses and gave the benefit of the doubt and, oh, he didn't mean it, and like that. And also too, this was like my first serious relationship that I had ever had, and I was 30 years old. And I know you're like, what? But I had been single my entire adult life, besides one long distance relationship, which also had some red flags, but that's another story, another video. And I'm going to try to keep this quick because I'm running out of storage on my phone, so if I talk fast, I apologize. I've got 26 minutes of record time, so I'm going to try to make this happen. I thought about doing a live on YouTube, maybe, but I don't know, it might be better, I don't know. Anyways, so this was my first serious, like, adult relationship, and I was 30 years old, and like I said, I had been single. Besides that one long distance relationship, I had been single my entire adult life, and I had people encouraging me to stay in the relationship, to forgive him. He didn't mean it like that. He was younger, he is younger than me, and he is 4 years younger than me. So at this time, he's still in his mid-20s, and I'm 30, and people were telling me, that he's still learning, and he's young, and, forgive him, whatever. So I had people encouraging me to forgive him, and then I had my own self not wanting to go back to being single, so I tolerated a lot of these red flags that I'm going to be talking about, and I wish I didn't. I wish I did not dismiss these things. I wish I had paid attention to these things. So I am sharing these 12 red flags. There may have been more things in the relationship, but these are the big ones that I wrote down that I wanted to share today. So if you are in a relationship and you experience any of these things, probably need to break up with that person. So I'm just going to jump right into these. And like I said, I'm going to try to talk fast because I don't have a lot of time. So number one, right off the bat, getting too comfortable with my body too quick. I don't mind if a guy wants to touch me or caress or cuddle or pull me close to him, but I didn't like the fact that it made me feel uncomfortable. Some of the things that he would pull me really close to him. He would get under a blanket and pull me close to him, and my mom was in the room with us. We were all watching a movie together, and we had just started dating, like maybe a week or 2 weeks into this, and he gets under a cover, pulls a blanket over me and him, and just pulls me really close to him, and I'm sitting there very uncomfortable, very tense, and it's a problem that he didn't notice that, but it's also a problem that I just thought maybe that was normal. I had never been in a serious relationship until I was 30 years old. So for me, I was like, is this normal? And I'm like, my mom is right there, and we are really close. Is this normal? I guess this is normal. So I'm trying to watch the movie, and I'm thinking to myself, is this normal? Do girls do this? This is normal. This is fine. This is fine. We're just sitting on the couch, cuddling. It's fine. My mom's right there. This is fine. I mean, I was clearly uncomfortable, and I really wish I had just said, that's too close, like, scoot over. I really wish I had did that, but it was new, and I didn't want to make him mad at me, and I really wish I did not tolerate that, but I did. So anyways, red flag number one, he got way too comfortable in my body way too quick. Now this is also, it could be a term called love bombing, which you can also just look up videos about that on YouTube. It is a really deep dive down. I didn't know what love bombing was until after this toxic relationship, so I learned a lot in this toxic relationship. So love bombing was one of the things, like narcissism. I really believe that my ex was a narcissist. If he was not, he had all of the narcissistic traits. Or personality disorders. So if he isn't a full-blown narcissist, he's very close to being a full-blown narcissist. So there was a lot of things I didn't know about when entering this relationship, and and throughout this relationship, there was just a lot of things that didn't make sense to me until I broke up with him. And then it's like all the puzzle pieces started to connect. And then it was like, oh my gosh, I understand now why he was like this and why he would do that and why he would say this. And I just had so many questions and I felt so confused all the time. And after I broke up with him, all of these things came together and it started to make so much sense. So if you guys want to hear more videos on this topic, comment down below. But anyways, I'm going to keep going though with these red flags. But I just wanted to say that just for you to keep in mind that I did not know anything about narcissism, about love bombing, about toxic relationships. This is the first like serious relationship I had been in with a guy. And so I was just trying to keep him happy. I didn't know anything. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what was normal. The biggest thing is I should have just said this makes me feel uncomfortable and make it stop, and I didn't, and I tolerated so much. And so number two thing, that a red flag that I tolerated, wish I did not, was he was not being clear on labeling our relationship, and it seemed like he didn't want to label the relationship. It seemed like he wanted to deny. I was like, what word is that? I couldn't read my handwriting. It's like he wanted to almost deny that we were in a relationship. I took a selfie and I was wanting to post it to Facebook, and I put my boyfriend, and he said I wouldn't put that. We had been dating for almost a month at this point, and I was like, what are we then? Like, we have been dating, kissing. He had been touching me and caressing me and pulling me close to him. We hadn't fully kissed yet, but we would kiss on like each other's necks or each other's faces, and we had not kissed on the lips yet, but we were kissing like around the lip area because I had never been kissed before. And so I kept telling him that's off limits, but we were kissing like in other places. And so I'm like, you've been kissing on me, you've been holding me and caressing me and touching me the way that you've been doing. We talk almost every day, we would hang out almost every night. I'm like, what is this? If we're not boyfriend and girlfriend, then what is this? And that really bothered me, that in that moment, there was instantly like this check of like, why would you say that? But again, I dismissed that feeling, and shame on me. But I was just so excited to finally get to announce I have a boyfriend. He sucks, but I have a boyfriend. And so anyways, that was a huge red flag that I wish I had been like, you know, if we're not boyfriend and girlfriend, then I'm not wasting any more time with you. And I really wish I had said that, but I didn't. So anyways, moving on. But that was iffy. Like, why don't you want to label this? The way we've been touching and hanging out, but you don't want to label this? Like, and that's one thing if you and your other person decide, okay, we're just having fun, we're just getting to know each other, we're not going to label this yet. That's one thing if you guys mutually agree upon that. But I was wanting a label, and when he was like, I wouldn't put that, I'm like, then what are we? I point blank asked him, like, what are we? This is your moment to say what we are. What are we doing? And then he was just like, yeah, you can put boyfriend. I should have like taken that as a sign to not even announce this, keep going with it, abandon ship right there, but I didn't, and I kept going. Another red flag that I tolerated in the relationship that I wish I did not was I didn't break up with him when well, that's not the red flag. Well, it is a red flag for me. I didn't break up with him when I should have. But the red flag is I saw a picture of another woman on his phone. And when I asked him, like, because he claimed she just sent it to him out of the blue. Okay, that's fine. Sometimes old flames can do that. But I asked him, did you tell her you're in a relationship now? No. And why not? I mean, it was just so much disrespect over and over that I saw in the relationship. And I am mad at myself that I tolerated that. And I was mad at myself for not breaking up with him. That is what I tolerated, is I hate that I didn't break up with him in that very moment, that very night. I should have. And I was this close to doing it. But again, people were encouraging me. He's young, forgive him, he's really sorry. And I never saw another woman's picture on his phone, but that doesn't mean that he didn't look at other pictures of women. And I'll get into that later on another point. But it was very concerning when I confronted him, like, did you tell her though that you're in a relationship? And he said no to me. And I was like, why? He's like, I just didn't think about it. You didn't think about it? You didn't think about me as your girlfriend? You didn't think about how that would affect me? I mean, it was a very long, drawn out conversation that we ended up having, and I was in tears, not like bawling, but I got a little teary eyed. And he's like, can you just forgive me and we move on? I'm like, no, because you hurt me. And I was just flabbergasted that he just was like so careless, and anyway, it just clearly showed me how important I was to him, the fact that he didn't even mention me to this old flame of his. And it just showed the priority, and I immediately recognized that, but again, I dismissed it and forgave him and stayed in the relationship. But I will say that from that point on, I never trusted him again. I tried to, but I never could. A big red flag that I tolerated, that I really wish I did not tolerate, was letting him touch me in ways that hurt me. So any kind of touch, holding hands, kissing, squeezing, grabbing, pushing, etc. He did a lot of things to me in the relationship where he would just all of a sudden like grab my shoulders and squeeze, or we'd be holding hands and he would just squeeze me like really tight, just out of nowhere, and it would actually hurt this muscle. And I thought he was just getting excited, or maybe he was just trying to love me in his own way, or like cuteness overload, how some people get, like we'll paint our dog's cheeks and go, oh, I love you so much, oh, like that. And I just thought maybe it was his version of something like that, where he would just grab me and he would give me like a deep tissue massage, and he'd squeeze my shoulders really hard, and sometimes he would even kiss my hand. And instead of just kissing it, like being really sweet, it's like he would kiss it, and I don't know if he would suck on it or what, but it would cause pain in my hand, and it would hurt. I'm like, you're supposed to be kissing my hand, and it's supposed to be sweet, and you're hurting me. And sometimes he would put his hand around my waist, and again squeeze, and oh my gosh, the butt smacks. He would smack my butt as hard as he possibly could. And at first I thought it was funny, like, oh my goodness, he's just smacking me really good on the hiney there, And but then it got to where it was like, okay, ow, that was really hard and hurt, okay. And then it just got to the point where he would do it, and I would just look at him like it's not funny. And he would just be like, like he's just so proud, like, yeah, I got you really good. And I would just look at him like, I'm not laughing. I mean, I hope he saw the death stare in my eyes, but it would hurt me so bad when he would smack me on the butt, and it would literally there's just a point where it's like, for funny, that's fun, you smack me, haha, or you even give a little pat, it's kind of sexy, wink, whatever. This was not none of that. This was like, that freaking hurt me. Like, you could have told me that he had a wooden board or a paddle and hit me with a stick or whatever, and I would believe you, because that's how it felt against me. And I hate that there would be all these little, and I never really thought about it till after the fact. One day I was just thinking about, me and my mom got in this conversation, and maybe we saw a video about toxic relationships, I don't really know, but something jarred my memory. And I told her about that, and I started telling her about all the ways he would touch me, and it would hurt. It wouldn't feel like love. It didn't feel sexy. It didn't turn me on. It hurt me. And it was just a lot of squeezing, and just a lot of pain would be inflicted with it. And I really believe that these were signs of someone potentially abusive, and maybe this was abuse on a small level, but all I know is it made me hurt physically, and it made me feel uncomfortable emotionally. And mentally. I mean, mentally, I'm like, why did you do that? And so that was a huge, huge, huge red flag that I wish I did not dismiss or tolerate. And I tolerated it throughout our entire relationship, which only lasted 6 months. All this bullcrap happened in 6 months. So I'm glad I only tolerated him for 6 months, but a lot of bullcrap happened in those 6 months. But that is a huge red flag that I really wanted to emphasize. That is a serious problem. It's not okay. And I wish I did not tolerate that, but I did. So if this is something that's happening to you, please do not tolerate that. If someone is touching you in a way that hurts you and makes you feel uncomfortable, especially causing you pain, no. Some of the ways that he would touch me would leave red places on me. I'm surprised I didn't get bruised at times. Like, that's not okay. A man should not leave marks on you unless it is in a way that you like. You catch my drift, you know. But if he's leaving marks on you that you do not give consent to, that you do not enjoy, then no, that's not okay. And it's not okay for a man to touch you in ways that cause you harm or hurt you. So if that's you, please break up with whoever it is that's doing that. I hate that I tolerated it, but I did. Something else that I tolerated that I wish I did not in the toxic relationship I was in was my ex would look at girls, other girls, in front of me. Yeah. Girls that were dressed skimpy, had their boobs hanging out, maybe they had nothing but a bra on or a swim top or something, and they had huge jugs, lots of cleavage, long hair. I mean, they would just look exotically beautiful. And they would just be like bouncing or, you know, doing something sexual, or maybe they'd be dancing in a seductive kind of way, but they would be very skimpily dressed. And he would have the nerve to watch these videos and then heart them in front of me. And I'd be standing there like, are you seriously watching this? Like, zero disrespect. It's one thing if a guy likes to look at stuff and he does it on the side and he tries to hide it from his significant other. It's not good, but at least there's a little bit of concern that he doesn't want to get caught and he doesn't want her to know that he's looking at this stuff. Not my ex. My ex didn't care. He would disrespect me in front of me. He would look at girls skimpily dressed, bouncing, jumping, jiggling, whatever, and he would heart the video. I called him out on it. Like, seriously, you're gonna heart that when I'm standing right here? Then he was like, and unhearted it. But it's like he did it with the most ugly attitude. Like, fine, if you don't want me hearting it, I guess I won't. And it was just, the level of immaturity was so humorous and ridiculous at the same time. Yeah, the level of disrespect. I'm gonna close up now. The level of disrespect was incredible, to say the least. I did not know that someone could be so selfish and so disrespectful. Just no care whatsoever for my overall well-being, my mental state, just didn't care about the relationship, didn't care about me. Would look at the stuff in front of me, heart it, didn't matter, didn't care, just zero disrespect. I don't care. I mean, crazy. Just absolutely selfish and crazy. How blunt and unashamed he would be when it came to showing me respect, or in this case, showing me disrespect. And that he did this all the time. And oh my gosh. And I'm gonna go ahead and jump to point number 10, or red flag number 10, is he would compliment other women but not me. So reflecting back to red flag number 5, he would watch these other girls and heart videos in front of me. Well, and I wrote these in no particular order, just as I thought about them. Well, red flag number 10 is he would compliment other women but not me. We would watch movies or TV shows and he'd be like, wow, he has a beautiful wife. And I would think, you know, when's the last time he told me I'm beautiful? When's the last time he complimented me? And I really couldn't remember. He did at the very beginning of our dating relationship, but over time it got less and less and less. And sometimes he wouldn't even use words to compliment me. It'd be like he would just look at me and be like, like he's checking me out, but he's not going to use his words to say anything. It was ridiculous. Like, thanks for raising your eyebrows. That really moves me. Thanks. Anyways, red flag number 6. And I've already mentioned number 10, so in conjunction to red flag number 5, so I'm just going to skip that one later. But red flag number 6 is he would let me pay for almost everything / anything, and never, ever offered or asked me if I needed help with gas or bills. So I'm paying for everything, and never tried to reimburse me, never tried to give back to me, never said, hey, do you need gas? Or, like, I know you've been paying for a lot of our meals lately, and I know that you recently put gas in my truck, but can I put gas in your Jeep? Can I pay for your food? Do you have any bills coming up that you would like, that you like need money for? And honestly, I was making probably just as much money as him, if not more. And so I guess he thought that that was his excuse to let me pay for everything and never offer or volunteer to help me out. But that's not okay. And I hate that I tolerated that. It is a huge red flag that showed his level of selfishness and how very little he cared for me, which is at a 0. He didn't care for me at all, and he was okay with taking and taking and taking from me, but never wanted to give back to me. And that is a huge red flag that I wish I had paid attention to, and I didn't. And I can't tell you the hundreds of dollars I potentially spent on him in 6 months of dating him. And I hate that I allowed him to take so much from me, and sometimes he would just show up. I had zero intention of paying for his food because he wasn't supposed to be there. I'd be out with a friend and he would just show up. And then he'd say, oh, I don't have enough money to cover this. But he would order all this stuff knowing full well what he had in his wallet. And then say, oh, I only have $17 of cash. Well, you've got a credit card in there, use it, and it was just ridiculous how he always played like he was poor, and basically it's like I was a sugar mama. And it was very discouraging because I was losing a lot of money, and I was having a hard time with saving stuff because I would want to be nice and not eat, but I didn't want to eat in front of him and him not be able to get his food. But at the same time, he was being disrespectful to me, though, by not offering to pay. Or he would order a lot of food knowing that he didn't have the money to cover it, so I would have to get the tab. And it was just very stressful on me mentally and financially, because he did not care, and it didn't bother him at all to take from me and let me spend my money on him that I worked hard for. And it was just extremely discouraging that I put up with that, and that he treated me that way, but also too that I tolerated it. And I really wish I did not tolerate that red flag, but I did. Another red flag that I tolerated that I wish I did not was he would not respect my boundaries when I would say don't do that. And the example that I have of this, there was times where I would just say, don't say that to me, don't do that, or don't say that. And if I did confront him and set those boundaries, he would get mad at me and throw a temper tantrum, or oh gosh, fine, and just things like that. But one time in particular, he was slapping me. This goes back to the other red flag where he would touch me in ways that I don't like. And he was slapping, I was sitting on the countertop and he was slapping my legs. And I had pants on, denim, but he was still slapping me hard enough that it was hurting my legs. And I was like, don't do that. He slaps me again as hard as he can. And I was like, where do you stop doing that? He does it a third time. And I said, you're hurting me. And at that point, my dog Samwise Gamgee, the brave, came and got between us and just looked up at him and puffed his chest out. This is a smaller dog, but he puffed his chest out and looked at him. And I looked down at Sammy, I looked back at him, and I said, if he bites you, I'm gonna let him. And he looked down at him and looked back at me, my ex. He looked down at my dog Samwise and looked at me. I said, if he bites you, I'm going to let him. I said it twice. And then finally, he backed off and stopped slapping me. I took my pants off, though, and showed him how red my legs were from him slapping me. And to tell him that's not okay. Like, you were slapping me when I was telling you repeatedly to stop doing that. And even told him, you're hurting me. And the level of just not caring, just no care at all, it was just disgusting. And it was truly scary that I was tolerating being alone with somebody who was like this. Another red flag is he gave zero effort in the relationship. When I say zero, I mean zero. I'm running out of time because I'm almost out of record time. But when I mean zero effort, I mean zero. Another red flag is he would only check on me or message me first if I had been quiet for a very long time. Like 7 hours to 2 days, I think, is the longest I went. I purposely would not message him because I wanted him to message me first. And I think the longest, it was like 2.5 days before he reached out to me and said, hey, are you okay, or what's up? And that was ridiculous. That I had to basically give him the silent treatment before he would reach out to me and say, hey, I'm thinking of you. It's like he would only reach out to me if he thought he was in trouble. Another red flag that was the final straw is he would raise his voice at me. And that was when I was like, I can't be in a relationship with this person anymore. He started raising his voice at me for absolutely no reason. And the last red flag, number 12, this is on me. I felt incredibly anxious throughout the entire relationship and ignored it. Along with these other things that were such a big deal and not okay that I ignored, I also ignored the inner turmoil that was happening inside of me consistently in these 6 months. I lost so much weight because I was so anxious I couldn't eat. I had terrible sleep. I was always exhausted, and I was losing a bunch of money because I was wasting it on this douchebag. So, those are my 12 red flags that I tolerated and wish I did not ignore, and I did, and I dismissed it. But I finally did break up with him, so I'm happy to report that I did break up with him. If you would like to hear more videos about this, then comment down below, but I have to end this because I'm out of record time.